What does it take to become a legend? The giffgaff Legends Tournament. Ranked League of Legends teams battle it out to compete for a prize pool of £10,000. giffgaff Legends, Beyond the Rift.
Hello and welcome to this week's Beyond the Rift, where we round up all the week's action in the giffgaff Legends Tournament. I'll be giving you the latest news and highlights of the best games. Do you remember this?
And FM are just going to push.
They just have to go for this fight, but Sir Scott gets deleted with the unleashed power. Tundra off to the side, will be pushing away Proper Panda, trying to do everything he can. Chunky gets stunned up as well, and someone came in and someone died. But it doesn't matter because the first Nexus turret falls, the second will do the same. Now moving on to the Nexus, and that's all that stands between them. And winning Insomnia 52, it will be falling. FM Esports don't drop a single game in this tournament, 2-0. What an incredible performance.
That was FM Esports winning Insomnia 52 back in August. And now the giffgaff Legends Tournament is giving you the chance to be at Insomnia 53. The top 8 teams from the league will automatically qualify for a place in our Legends Live final, taking place at I-53 in November. The eventual winners will go on to the Riot's Four Nations event at the end of the year. And we're giving you a prize pot of £10,000. We are so generous, it's unbelievable. You can keep an eye on who's doing what and who's heading to the final on our esports portal. Go to esports.giffgaff.com for match fixtures and results and lots more. Yes, and once there, also check out the videos and blogs giving you the inside track on the world of esports, like this one from top ESL caster Pansy.
Preparation is a huge factor into any caster's day-to-day basis, and especially when the bigger events come around, but even just breaking it down into your regular show, you want to be spending a good couple of hours getting ready for it. Even if you want to take it as far as to script your introductions, your handoffs to a break, you can go as far as you want with it.
If you want to see the rest of Pansy's fascinating interview, it's on the website. And it's also on our YouTube channel, as is this show with a new one posted every Friday. Or if you want to watch some live matches, go to twitch.tv/giffgaff every Wednesday from 7 PM. Seeing as it's Halloween, we couldn't let the opportunity pass to have a little fun. After all, I've managed to dodge the black mist, so far, and the harrowing ain't coming anywhere near me, mate. Well, not if I have some of my favourite LOL champs, on my team. Then I'm all good. So I give you our top 5 spooky lineup of LOL champs. In at number 5 is Gangplank in the top lane. Following closely behind at number 4, Karthus in the mid. Number 3, it's the one who makes me keep wanting to look over my shoulder. It's Thresh as support. In at number 2, Fiddlesticks in the jungle. And at number 1 in our spooky countdown is Kog'Maw, ADC. It's a pure teamfight wombo combo. Now to this week's tournament news. With MCM Comic-Con last weekend, many teams took a slight pause in their quest for world domination. Don't worry, we do understand. But big brownie points, however, go to Space Chimps and Helix Guitar Gaming, who did match up. And Space Chimps took the win there. Also, All for None and None for All and the Birdcage, and the Birdcage flew away with victory in that game. You can also see more of All for None a little later in the show. That's surely worth tweeting about. Just use the hashtag giffgafflegends, or you could go for the pigeon post option and send, an email to esports@giffgaff.co.uk. Okay, no more bird references, I promise. Well, maybe. Moving on to this week's featured games. In match 1, Cheeseburger Apocalypse take on the Dream Scheme. In match 2, All for None and None for All play Handsome Butchers. And in our other match this week, London Conspiracy face a bunch of scrubs. So, to our first match, Cheeseburger Apocalypse versus the Dream Scheme. Both teams are working with fairly new rosters. Cheeseburger Apocalypse, or CA, finally completed theirs 2 months ago. And the Dream Scheme, TDS, have only been playing with their lineup for a couple of weeks. So to be honest, TBH, it hasn't really affected the entertainment factor as, in my opinion, IMO, it was a great game of LOL. Before we cut to the action, it is Halloween, and by some strange twist of fate, we found out that one of the team members in this game really is a witch wizard. Yes, spooky. That's Cheeseburger Apocalypse's captain, Where's My Spacebar? He was late for his game because he was playing in a Quidditch match. Not even kidding. So hello to Brizzle Puffs. Don't keep him so late next time, and please get on with your Halloween duties. You've probably got a few people to trick or treat in Diagon Alley or something like that. I don't know. The commentators for this match are Panky and Komalala. Let's see who managed to cast the winning spell.
Duo lane, they're top lane effectively. The freedom to push into turret. Wow, going straight in on the mid lane. Fizz getting incredibly aggressive, and Orianna walks in to die for first blood. They're gonna try and push down this mid turret, but there's still a lot of waves cleared there. There's still 4 members of TDS, and in fact they're going aggressive. Even with Fizz so low, they're going in onto Orianna. Tristana's in a terrible position. A flashing from Lee Sin will kick Karthus out. First victim down is Maokai. Fizz is going to follow it up, but there's a lot of damage coming out from this Karthus in passive. Jinx is forced to flash away, and actually, Cheeseburger Apocalypse do come out on top.
Caught out here.
Yeah, we've already seen how strong Irelia is alone, and now Lee Sin's up here too. He has not used his ultimate just yet, but he has landed the Sonic Wave. He goes straight in, tiny little bit of health. Good twisted advance into towards the Wraith Camp to keep himself alive, but even with Castor's Wall there to slow them down. Shockwave goes straight on the minions next to a dash forward, but he does land the fish. Tristana comes over the wall to try and pick him up. Quick flash off, but it's not enough. 1-for-1 trade. And he does still have that strength, as we mentioned. He's got himself a Zonya since we last spoke, so that Lich Bane does even more. And that's what TDS need to keep doing. If they can grab... Wow, Shockwave out of Orianna catches 2 members of TDS. Fizz comes back in and grabs himself Karthus. Then he's exhausted. He will Zonya's through the Karthus ultimate, but he doesn't make it out the other side because Orianna's there to finish him off. Maokai is trying to retreat away from Irelia, but she will not make it. There's a double bubble down from Nami, but Irelia is still incredibly strong. She's also got Braum there, and they're going to keep chasing. Picks up a double kill onto Orianna. Now she can use the minions to reset, and they're chasing down Nami. She's the last member of CA standing, but they choose to let her live this time round. 4 men rotate from TDS around the side. Orianna's a little bit exposed. There goes the ult from both Fizz and Braum. She'll go down very, very quickly if she's not careful. She does get the Zonyas off, gets her Shockwave on the other side, but she still drops down. Karthus now Zonyas himself as he's very, very low in the fight. But Irelia's still standing in it. Fizz is standing in it. Tristana's doing a massive amount of damage from Rage. Now Karthus comes out and he's still in his passive. Braum very, very low, and he's being chased by Maokai. Lee Sin and Irelia, they're helping Kite. But Tristana's still at the back doing huge amounts with every auto attack. She can't get too close though because Irelia can still blow her up and has to back to the fountain to heal. So 3 members of TDS get out with 2 kills. He does get a lot of turret damage down. Lee Sin gets in the back. They get straight onto Trist again. And once more, CA are in full retreat. Braum gets straight through. Shockwave does hit 3 people, but there is a good Nami tidal wave to help disengage. Down goes Fizz, and the 3 members of TDS are now at full pelt in retreat. Maokai picks up a good snare twisted advance onto Lee Sin, and CA are diving straight home. They don't have their AD carry, but they still do a lot of turret damage with this 4-man combo. Karthus taking a couple of bashes in. In goes Irelia. This is a last-minute defense from TDS. 2v4 under their own turret. Being tanked up by Maokai forever, however. And down goes Braum. Irelia gets back out, but alone she's not going to do much in this defense. Turret goes down. Inhib will follow. Question is, do CA keep pushing? Orianna and Karthus are very low. If they're not careful, she could grab one of them. She goes straight for Orianna first. She doesn't have Zonyas for a couple of seconds, and now there's support here from Fizz. They grab 2. Karthus and Orianna are down, and now there's a lot of trouble for Tristana. She gets stunned up. Fizz tries to come forward, picks up a 3rd kill, and it's 3-0 in favor of TDS once more, and Lee Sin's here to grab the dragon off the back of it. Do get the Braum ult going out, but it's ultimately just to try and push them off the turret. Fizz was bottom and they saw it, and they saw Lee Sin, of course, dealing with super creeps in the middle lane. That's why they got that turret for free up top. But now TDS is here to try and do what they can to defend the inhibitor turret. The inhib in mid should be coming back up somewhere very soon, but they've still got a couple of waves of super creeps to deal with. Fizz is the option for that, and they're lacking wave clear from the rest of them. Maokai goes straight in, he's tanking the turret. Fizz is still got to come across. Will the rest of TDS be alive when he gets there? Down goes the tower. Tristana focus that. Here comes Fizz. 3 very low health members of TDS. Fizz immediately puts his Zonyas up and Braum is down. Fizz flashes out, but Irelia goes in. She has to flash away, but she will not survive it. Karthus does drop to Fizz in the backside, but Fizz loses his own life for his troubles. And last second heal keeps Orianna alive. Potter came back, but will lose his life for it. Lee Sin's doing all he can to kill this very tanky Maokai, but he's been exhausted, and Maokai's passive keeps him alive. Down goes Lee Sin, and that has to be game for Cheeseburger Apocalypse.
Yeah, definitely. TDS played it really well so far. They had done fantastically well, especially losing their AD carry as well, unfortunately, due to a DC. But CA short this round in the end anyways. Did a really nice fight in that last one and then managed to pick up the win for this game.
I have to say, I have been impressed by TDS tonight. As you mentioned, they lose their AD carry and their team captains. Their shot caller goes too. They knew what they had to do to try and stay in, even 4v5. They knew how to try and execute it. Lee Sin got behind CA way too many times, and they still pulled it off. But unfortunately, that man advantage is just that little bit too strong. And CA did come out, well, towards the end. I mean, again, I also don't want to take too far away from CA. That last fight, 4v5 or not, was played perfectly irrelevantly. They waited for Fizz to go middle, they waited for him to deal with the super creep, then they went in, they let Maokai take the whole turret damage. They knew Brawl was down, he'd been wasted earlier. So they did that fight perfectly regardless of Jinx being there or not. So I do want to give them that credit. Yeah,
definitely. They had a fantastic game. It was a great one to watch. Unfortunately, due to that DC, we couldn't see their full potential. We didn't see how it might have gone, especially with that being their shot caller as well. So it was a bit of a loss for them on that part. But well, nicely played by CA. They came out really nicely and strong in the end anyways.
Unfortunately, during the game, one of the Dream Scheme's players experienced a technical issue and was unable to return to the game. After the match, both captains decided that they would replay the game at a later date. Well, let's go and speak to Cheeseburger Apocalypse's captain, Harry, Quidditch playing Potter. I mean, actually, no, obviously it's where's my spacebar. So, tell us about the match.
The point of the match was we started off trying to go for a late game comp, so we knew we were going to kind of get beaten quite badly in the early to mid, which is why we gave up a lot of the dragons very early on. We got a bit lucky with the Jinx DC, which we were a bit upset about. We don't really want to win that way, so hopefully we'll get a rematch. But even with her there, we were hoping for a 50-minute game, which it ended up being anyway. We're not very good at closing out games, so I think that was the main problem. And the substitution of the top lane confused us a bit because we weren't we didn't know any of his champs, so it was a bit confusing to see him in there.
It's an interesting pick, jungle, Karthus.
Yeah, I don't play much jungle. I've only really started picking up jungle, and I'm a mid main. I've got a Karthus only Smurf that I play on, which is actually my solo queue account, which is high diamond, and that's pretty much just 200 Karthus games.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
We can also hear from the runners-up, the Dream Scheme. AJ Morgan, we noticed a DC on Jinx. What happened?
Well, we had a 6,000 gold lead at 13 minutes, which we saw when we watched the VOD. So we were pretty far ahead. We got the early dragon. We got, I think, 2 early turrets, and we were something like 6 kills ahead. So we were really looking to close it out. And unfortunately, our AD carry's hard drive died in the middle of the game. So he couldn't get back on his computer at all. He texted us saying it's not going to work. And obviously, there was nothing we could really do about it. We can't sub a player mid-game, so we just had to play it out 4v5. And we think we did pretty well, considering it was 4v5 for about 25 minutes, but we just couldn't close it out in the end.
Thanks so much, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
We'll bring you all the news on the rematch next week. This game also gets the vote for having Best Play of the Week. The ledge moment took place when Irelia, the Dream Scheme, was running back in a bot lane after pushing pretty far down the lane. Irelia uses her ult to heal herself as she heads towards the river, where Fizz TDS is coming to assist. Fizz annihilates both Karthus and Orianna near instantly and then activates his Zionist Hourglass to prevent Karthus' passive damage taking effect. Irelia then dashes to Tristana, stunning her, finishing her off for the 3rd kill, allowing him to turn an initial 1v3 situation into 3 kills and no deaths for their team. On to our second match this week. It features All for None and None for All against Handsome Butchers. All for None have had a mixed bag in this tournament so far. They've won 4 out of their 7 games but lost the last 2. Handsome Butchers were also on a losing streak going into this, with 3 games played and not a single win. So it was crunch match for both teams. With commentary from Panky and Komalala, here's how they got on.
So it is obviously opening up slowly but surely with time, but with the lane pushing slightly out, it might be better, but a good hook lands in onto Janna. She does get the knock-up out thanks to the tornado before she exhausts. Lucian was exhausted from the start of the fight, but he's used his heal to get back in and to try and help Janna out, and both members of the HB squad are incredibly low. Flash away, but there's a dash forward and Lucian picks up first blood, but Vayne hang around a bit deep. Flash in from Lucian, can he get the next double shot off? He does, and it's a double kill under tower.
Yeah, that was nicely played by Lucian and Janna.
Lucian doing what he can to try and get onto Thresh. He's got a lot of damage, but can he get there in time? The slow does land. Javan takes the lantern again, and Thresh falls. But will Javan lose his life with this too? The knock-up's there, the slow is there. He does flash away, but Vega's coming around. Doesn't quite land the cage. And double kill again for Lucian. Javan's going to walk straight into Vega though. We'll see what kind of burst we've got. Good hook goes straight onto Vega, pulls him in towards the turret. He's stunned up as well and will die before he can get off anything more than the stun. Nunu's trying to channel his ult, but he does get exhausted in time. Janna has to pop her ult to get out safely, and now both members of All for Nothing are on the wrong side of the Handsome Butcher tower. Javan goes in, gets the knock up onto Gibson. The TP is coming down from Renekton, but a good flash from Gibson gets him out safely. They're facing onto Nunu. One more shot from Vayne will pick up that kill. She does pick it all up with a quick tumble. Jace is going to keep pushing top, but ultimately Handsome Butchers did quite well there. Cutting comes out, flash smack consumed from Nunu, does pick up the steal. Javan's very low, Thresh is very low, and there's a massive Lucian in amongst the fight. Javan drops down, Lucian will pick up that kill. Very, very low. Fizz is trying to dash away as fast as he can. Lucian is going to go very aggressive and just about survives until Renekton finishes him off. Vayne's already dead and it's just Renekton left standing in the fight. Fizz is long gone. Renekton picks up one for a double kill. Only Janna and Nunu left, two support champions that don't do much damage. The Tornado's going to miss. The Ice Blast is there, but Renekton's got Slice and Dice. Jace is coming in to try and do what he can. He's trying to chase him down. Does get the slow off. Renekton's come back. Sorry, Nunu's come back, but Renekton's going to have a Slice and Dice. He gets the stun up, waiting for the last cooldown, but Jace will finish him off beforehand. Good hook goes out onto Janna, though, pulls her straight in. Fizz and Vayne going to focus her down. She will get nuked, and now it's just Lucian on his own. Thresh is taking up the turret while he's exhausted, and down goes Lucian. A beautiful dive coming out from HB, but in comes Mr. Smug as he does pick up one kill, nuking down Fizz. Vayne's going to pop her ult. She has taken a lot of damage, but can she finish him off? She does, just before the meteor falls and drops him on her head.
Tons of amount of damage, so he gets that kill onto Fizz. So much burst coming out, and this is where you really see that power spike. He's got that DFG and the yapping, so he's doing a lot for his team, and here comes the fight. Javan
straight over the wall, does get the knock up onto Vega, but he's deleted by Lucian, who was there waiting for him. Thresh gets a good hook onto Nunu, but loses half of his health bar for his trouble. Vayne's got to recall from the jungle. Renekton is there, but again, it's not real wave clear. These people are all single target, and Lucian doing a lot to the tower, then turns to do a lot to Renekton, and goes back to the turret again. Beautiful tornado, locks Renekton up where he stands, and Lucian gets another free kill, because he was just too far forward without his team. Turret goes down because there's no one there to defend it. Now that HB come forward, they're going to give it a go, but they've got no turret, and there's still so much burst with Vega ultimate back up. Thresh gets nuked. Vayne can't do anything to help this. This is going to go forward onto Nunu, but he's just baited into another Vega stun, and down he goes. Vayne's got knocked up. Another beautiful tornado from this Janna. She's going to self into tumble. But Lucian's there again with a little bit of help from Vega. The inhib will fall, and if HB keep dying like this, it could be game right where we stand. All for Nothing are going to keep the push up. They've got Jace, they've got Nunu, they've got an incredibly fed Lucian, Janna buffs as well, and it's only Renekton and Thresh left standing. There's the Janna ult for the healing. Thresh is going to come back forward straight into another cage. He's going to go straight back down again. This time he has flash, so he's lucky. But as comes Renekton, out he goes. He's got his ultimate, he's got a lot of health, but that's all it is. It's no defensive stat. Does get stunned up again and dropped. Fizz is here. Everyone's low. Can he pick up more than one kill? Forces a flash from Vega, but he gets exhausted. Can they kill him while he's down? He does drop in the middle of the exhaust. A cage hits Thresh again, and while he's put his own box down, it's not going to make much of a difference. In comes Javan, but all he can do is knock up. He's got no damage. And the rest of All for Nothing are just focusing down the Nexus. They're all incredibly low. Lucian's the first to drop because he focused, but down goes Nunu. Vayne is doing what damage she can, but there's Mr. Smug again running around the edges, and with one last auto attack, they do pick up the game thanks to Jace at 25 minutes, and ultimately, all because Handsome Butchers were impatient.
That was pretty badly played by Handsome Butchers. They went in one by one, getting locked down by Veigar. time over time, getting knocked down by that stun, and then Janna with the knockups as well. And dying just one by one enabled Alper Non to just keep on pushing and getting those getting that inhibitor, and then the Nexus towers, and eventually the Nexus in the end. So it was, as you said, it wasn't patience. They didn't wait for the team to come back up where they all could go in together and try to fight that off. But no, they went in one by one, which was a big mistake, especially against something like Veigar, which he has such a huge stun as well and a lot of burst damage. So ended up losing due to that.
Exactly, it's on such a low cooldown. Every time someone came in, it's another stun. Every time someone comes in, another stun. And while I kept saying they had no wave clear, that's their only option, right? You can't wave clear. You can't sit here and defend the siege. You just have to fight. So you fight.
A win for all for none and none for all. Congratulations! They've upped their win tally to 5 out of 8 played. Bad luck, Handsome Butchers, who are still needing a positive result in this tournament. The one thing Handsomes can cheer themselves up with, though, is the knowledge that they have an excellent logo. Just look at this. It has very attractive qualities, and I'm not just talking about the butcher. And they aren't alone. Cheeseburger Apocalypse. It's a veritable explosion of cheeseburgers, which is quite appropriate after their win this week. Sometimes all it takes is a good image and you can get away with murder. A bit like this next stylish champion. If you want to know how to do the most damage with this natty dresser Javan, then take a look at this.
Javan IV, the exemplar of Demacia, is an early and mid-game focused jungler. Javan's presence for initiating team fights in synergy with a multitude of champions makes him a great pick for team fighting compositions. Javan's passive is Martial Cadence. His first basic attack on a target will deal 10% of the target's current health as bonus damage. Dragon Strike is Javan's Q. Extending his lance in a straight line, Javan deals damage and reduces the armor of all enemies hit. Golden Aegis is W. When activated, all enemies within the radius of the Aegis are slowed, and Javan shields himself for 5 seconds. The shield size increases for each enemy champion within the range of the Aegis when activated. Demacian Standard grants Javan passive armor and attack speed, and when activated, Javan throws out the flag of Demacia to a target location. This damages enemies struck by it, and grants vision and increases the attack speed of all allies around the standard for 8 seconds. While the flag is on the map, Dragon Strike can be used to pull Javan towards the flag if used within range. This will knock up and damage all enemies along the path. Javan's ultimate is Cataclysm. He jumps towards a target enemy champion, damages them, and creates a small radius of impassable terrain surrounding his opponent and all nearby champions. You can reactivate Cataclysm again to destroy the terrain. Start out on Javan with the standard start of Hunter's Machete and 4 health potions. Build towards Spirit of the Elder Lizard and pick up either Mobility Boots, Mercury Treads, or Ninja Tabi for extra ganking potential depending on your opponent's composition. If you're ahead in the game, look to pick up a Brutalizer as your next item for more damage, or if behind, or against a heavy magic damage composition, grab a Hex Drinker for better survivability. The following items are the core build path, but the order depends on how your enemies are doing. Randuin's Omen for health and armor, Locket of the Iron Solari for the magic resist aura, and Banshee's Veil later in the game. And around this time you can upgrade the Hex Drinker to more of Malmortius or Brutalizer to Black Cleaver to complete your build. In the early game, Javan's advantage is getting into lane. Burning a flash on an enemy laner and then ganking again a minute or so later is a very common tactic because of its simplicity and effectiveness. Use your EQ combination to pass over terrain and get into lane unseen. In team fights, your engage potential is what makes you the crown prince of crowd control. Look for a Cataclysm to start the fight and watch as your enemies fall before you. Synergize Javan's ultimate with other champions. Cataclysm and Orianna's Shockwave make a high damage combination. Na's ultimate makes for a great follow-up after the engage due to changes in patch 4.16 that now stuns all enemies Mega Na throws into ally-created terrain. Now you've got what it takes to head to the Rift to slay those who dare defy your will.
To our last match this week. It was a top table versus bottom table clash where London Conspiracy took on a bunch of scrubs. We've seen London Conspiracy do well on this show for the past couple of weeks now. Bunch of scrubs came into this off the back of 2 straight losses, so they didn't look like a particularly troublesome opponent. But it is Halloween week, you know, and spooky things can happen. Let's find out if they did with commentary from Komalala.
And Jana gets caught out by the death sentence, gets flayed backwards alongside Caitlyn as well. The focus is down onto Jana, spots by the phosphorus bomb. Caitlyn trying to kite it away as well, do some damage, but she won't really be able to help Jana. She falls to Corki. Here, Rengar spots out Olaf, and the ultimate being used by Xerath picks up that kill for himself. On the top lane, Vlad self-resistant on getting that tier 2, and here Caitlyn gets caught out with a flay, and so much damage coming out from Corki. He gets that kill for himself. York was under his tower for too long, but Rengar came along and gets himself a kill. Here, Corki and Thresh hammering away at this top bot lane tower, and they're gonna get that too. Here's Olaf. He wants to get something. He's chasing them down onto Corki. Play back, but he has the Valkyrie away. Exhaust onto Olaf. Caitlyn gets caught by the death sentence. They go right in. Nice monsoon to push him out, but Caitlyn doesn't matter. So much damage by Corki. Gets taken down. Jana being focused now. Meanwhile, Olaf trying to run away as well. Flash being used by Corki to really get this kill, and he does in the end by that missile barrage. Orianna in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ultimate used by Vladimir. She has to use the heal. The pool also being used by Vlad. Shockwave misses. Vlad gets a kill for himself. Now the three of them are going to push for that inhibitor turret. And now two others have joined them at as well. And they're going to keep going at that turret. York uses TP, but he's taken a lot of damage. Olaf decides to go in a little bit as well. That inhibitor turret falls. Inhibitor is going to be next to focus by London Conspiracy. There's so much damage coming out. Xerath doesn't actually pick up the kill. It is going to be Rengar that's going to take that. The inhibitor does fall. Olaf trying to chase this down. Bad idea. Corki picks up that kill. York chasing down as well. Orianna gets done a lot of damage coming up from the ultimate by Xerath. Flash over the wall by York, but Corki chases him down, gets himself a kill. Caitlyn trying to get something onto Rengar, has to flash over the wall. He flashes right in after her, and he gets himself a double kill. Jana left all by herself to try and defend. She's just gonna back off. They're just gonna focus their attention on these objectives and pick up this tower in the mid lane. Well, Vlad was left all by himself to push that inhibitor in the top lane. It does so much damage onto Orianna. The shockwave being used, but it doesn't matter, it doesn't do anything to him. He gets that kill. And he's still gonna go at that inhibitor turret. Meanwhile, York gets caught out as well. Johnny here to try and help him. He will live for now. York taking a lot of damage from Corki. Corki taking too many tower shots. Monsoon here used by Jana. Hook lands onto York. They're finding it quite difficult to defend, but Vlad doing so much damage. He's gonna pick himself up another kill. Here in the mid lane, Xerath gets himself a kill onto Caitlyn. And Jana left to try and defend. She's in such a bad position. They're just going to focus her down, play backwards, and Corki gets a turret. Meanwhile, Vlad gets that kill onto Jana. Everybody on Bunch of Scrubs is coming in one by one to try and defend their objectives, but really looking not good for them. It's really hard for them to try and defend. And Olaf gets taken down as well. It's a very slow yet steady win for London Conspiracy. They get one Nexus tower. They're looking to get the third inhibitor, which should fall soon enough anyways. Now just the Nexus turret and the Nexus left to fall, and Rengar does pop the ultimate. The ace and hold is pretty nothing. Just Scrubs trying to defend this last Nexus tower, but there's so much pressure being built up, and York gets caught yet again, gets played backwards, gets taken down by Rengar, and Xerath off the side. The shockwave lands onto Xerath. He falls to Orianna, but minions doing so much. Olaf gets caught out here. He goes all in, but really there is no point. There's just too much damage coming out from London Conspiracy. The last Nexus tower being focused at. Now Orianna decides to flash in, gets hooked. The box being used as well. She falls to Vlad. Caitlyn and Jana left at the fountain trying to defend, but so much damage coming out from even the minions. that the Nexus falls in the end, so that's a win for London Conspiracy. And just looking at the post-game lobby stats, you can see it was a fairly short game. It was a strong win for London Conspiracy. They came out on top. They got their objectives pretty fast. They put a lot of pressure down on all of the lanes, which effectively made them win the game in the end.
Another win for London Conspiracy. Nice try, bunch of scrubs. It was definitely worth a shot. Let's speak to the LC captain, Slaberlord, now. Congratulations! So, were there any standout players?
Yeah, from us, I'd say it would be our jungler. He shot calls for us, and he was getting everything going around the map. From them, actually, their mid laner he did pretty well, and he exceeded our expectations. So props to him.
Any hopes overall for the tournament?
Yeah, we're aiming for a top 8. We'd be disappointed with anything under top 8 because we are going to the event. We're going to play the other tournament as well, and we really want to play in giffgaff. We really want to get into 4 nations, so top 8 minimum and hopefully a top 4.
Thanks so much for chatting to us. We'll speak to you really soon. The beauty of this tournament is that the underdogs are not deterred by taking on the big boys and learning a few things along the way. And that's where we're hoping to help as well. We've been showing you a series of handy role guides, and this week it's the turn of the jungler. So, rounding up the action from the games this week, we've seen victories from Cheeseburger Apocalypse, All for None and None for All, and London Conspiracy. The league table as it now stands. Ledge status goes to FM Esports, who remain at the top of the table. Team Infused also keep their place in second. Best College UK, You What Mate, and Risky Recalls all move upwards to take 3rd, 4th and 5th places. Not such good news for Helix Guitar Gaming, who fall 3 places from last week to the 6th spot. London Conspiracy have moved up to 7th, and despite All for None's win against Handsome Butchers, they dropped down to 8th. There's new entries in the 9th and 10th Challenger places for the Birdcage and Space Chimps, so we'll be looking at how they progress from here. That's about it for this week's Halloween special. If you want to see what tricks the teams are up to next week, just visit the esports portal at esports.giffgaff.com. There's also lots of treats about esports on there, like the full spotlight interview of Pansy, an insightful blog on the success of the LoL World Champs as a measure for changing viewing habits, a fun interview with one of our casters, Spuddington, and a blog written by one of this week's casters, Panky, on how he got to be an LCS caster. It's all going on there. Feel free to make use of our email address as well, esports@giffgaff.co.uk, or tweet us with the hashtag giffgafflegends if you've got anything to say. That's it for this week. There'll be more match highlights next week, and don't forget to catch the live stream on Wednesday from 7 to 9 on twitch.tv/giffgaff. We'll see you on the Rift.